Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode with Inspired by Miss Amber Red. Today, it's a little bit different. We have Sasha here next to me in case I forget what the fuck I'm saying. And then we also have a special guest. I'm going to let her introduce herself. Go ahead.
My name is Brieanna Calandrella. I own Viva Vanish Skin Solutions. So my main focus is tattoo removal, but I also do advanced esthetician work as well. I recently just started my journey in becoming an aesthetic instructor. So in the evenings, I teach aesthetics at night, and then during the day, I remove tattoos.
Thanks, girl. You keep me busy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, I just moved here from Colorado. Prior to that, I was in DC. So just until I get a groove and get more flow of clientele, I figured why not educate.
How long have you been here?
It will be 2 years in June.
So still new. Yeah.
And the business is only in June will be a year old.
Oh.
So did you have the business already established there, and then when you moved here,
I just pulled everything with me, but obviously we didn't bring clients. So
did you do any like marketing or any sort of thing to help with the transition to get here?
No, because I wasn't quite sure. I was hoping to keep the business running, and then my employee unbeknownst quit. So it was kind of an urgency thing that kind of made me move here faster.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was living here but running the business from here.
Over there.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So here, are you in like your own, like what size is your studio? Is it by yourself? Do you have other people? Are you renting just a small space? Is it a big old space?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good size space. I think it's might be 800 square feet, but it's not large. It has 3 rooms, 3 treatment rooms, own bathroom, and then like a nice little entry. So, you have your couches that you can sit in, front desk, and product sales and all that good stuff. Yeah. But just until the time being, I actually have a doctor renting one of the rooms for me.
Nice.
She does weight loss, but she also does like a rehab type thing. She does injections for substance abuse.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
So any other, like, do you have any other employees?
Nope.
Just you, you're
me,
kind of running
myself,
All right.
until I can get a little bit more feet on the ground.
Yeah,
and then I'll run
absolutely.
with it.
Yeah.
Cool.
So my goal with becoming an instructor is to be able to have a laser school. So down the road, the option is to have nothing but lasers and all the lasers. And then educate people on those.
So with lasers and permanent makeup, they kind of go,
They go so hand in hand.
Yes,
it's
they do.
ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
a majority of my clientele is brow removal. I've had quite a few people with lip removal. I have never done cheeks, so I'd like to do that one day.
how about eyeliner?
So that is a tricky one. So
People love my eyeliners, so I'm like,
yeah,
let's talk.
hopefully we don't
That'll
ever
pull
have
some
to-
people in. I'm like, come on, what are their options? They got shitty eyeliner.
you can get it removed. I, at the moment, don't have the contacts. It's these silver contacts that go into the eyes because you cannot tattoo over the eyes, right?
I have seen it being inserted, and it's so scary.
It's crazy, right?
yes.
Yeah. So the liability there has caused me not to really want to jump into that quite yet with applying the medical contacts. And
So so brows, you said there's a lot of brows that are coming in that are needing removed.
all day, every day.
Yeah, we see it all the time too.
Yeah.
So with that, are there certain lasers that hit certain colors? Because I've heard that in the past. So tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So the wavelengths attract to different pigments. And so we have 3 different wavelengths that attract to all the different pigments in the color wheel. So when you mix your colors, when you're about to start, that has everything to do with how it fades in the tattoo removal process. So say a gal will come in with really nice, beautiful, rich brown eyebrows. But once you hit it for that first time, and you use the laser that you see, so the color is dark. So I'm going to use the laser that attracts to dark brown and black. That's called an ND. It's an ND YAG. And the wavelength is 1064. So there's multiple different wavelengths, but the 2 that are most commonly reused for cosmetic tattoo removal is 1064 and 532. They're both an ND YAG. So it's just the medium. It's just the type of laser that the rock is coming from that's making that light power.
That's so interesting. I didn't know there was like different lasers. That's really cool.
And they go different depths, and they attract to different things in the body, pigment-wise. So the girl's
let's
got
say you're
the brown.
Yeah, okay.
And I do the
You're
first.
about to answer my question.
I do that first pass, and then suddenly now she has this rich reddish
I
color.
knew it. I was like, they're gonna go red
Or orange,
or pink,
or pink,
salmon-y,
Oh my God! Across the board, it just depends on what you mix with it. The one color that I truly despise is white. So anytime you mix white in, because it doesn't have a pigment line, it still oxidizes because it's got that titanium dioxide in there, and it will turn like flesh tones.
So a lot of lip
it will get
pigments
brown
have whites in them already.
So they're really tricky. And I've tried to, I had a gal that came in a couple weeks ago, and she had her lips done, and then she had them outlined. And I talked her out of getting laser because she wanted just her liner gone. She wanted to keep the flushing, the blushing,
Blush, yeah.
but she wanted the defined line gone. And I'm like, the laser has a spot size of a square. I cannot exactly go over, and it may oxidize. And when it oxidizes, it turns black sometimes. And so then I have to use the laser that attracts to black and then remove it. It will remove over time. And I have tons of things set up for her to see, like, okay, this is where I saw red. I used the laser that is attracted to red, but it oxidized, turned black. And then you do a second cross, and you use the laser that attracts to black. And then the next time they come in, it's barely there on the skin. So it's it's like a weird process.
Yeah.
And you really have to have a heart-to-heart with them. Like, can you handle that? You know, can you just let it fade and know that this is the outcome? That's okay, and it's going to eventually go away. It may take 2 or 3 treatments. Luckily for permanent makeup, it's less than tattoo removal. Like, it's more superficial on the skin than a tattoo. You're defining that line when you're tattooing. With makeup, you're just shading it in.
It's a little softer.
To make it
softer
soft and
implantation.
beautiful. Exactly. So it can be tricky with lips because of that. You know, and I talked her out of it because I was just like, look, saline's going to be a better choice for you at that point.
Yeah. I even get a little nervous. I'm like, a full lip with saline? I'm like, ooh. Because the skin is so thin. I'm like, ooh. But the lip line, I'm like, lip line, I'll go in and do all day long.
Yeah.
But that skin in the, ooh.
Well, if she was willing to take all of it, then I'd be like, well, let's just do all of it. But she was very like, nope, I don't want to take the blushing.
line.
And I'm like, okay, well, I'm probably not your fix. You know, I would really love to do your treatment for you, but I'm not going to guarantee
I think that's awesome that because we do the same thing. Like, I think it's good to, you kind of have to be the professional and be comfortable in being the professional and telling that person, like, no, this isn't going to give you your best.
It's okay
outcome.
to turn clients away.
Absolutely. Because sometimes, especially, you know, not always, but sometimes it's like they are like, oh, no, I know what's best. This is what I want. This is what you should do. This is what, and I'm like, nah, if you're coming at, no,
what
we're
I
not the
teach
right.
and preach, I do. Like, have a predictable outcome. If you cannot have a predictable outcome, there's no point in doing it. Because then it's your license, it's your reputation.
My sleep.
Yeah.
I like my sleep.
Exactly.
I just saw that brow this morning. I'm like, we see them all the time. It's like on my end, it's like I can color correct stuff to an extent.
Right.
But then sometimes there's things, like if they're too overly saturated, it's not going to hold that orange. There's there's no room in the skin. Like you're going to have to get some sort of lightening removal.
Exactly. And you can go in and take some of that pigment out with removal.
Make more room for
lasers.
it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then start over and fresh and pretty.
And I even say, like, if there's like a tinge of it in there, I wouldn't bother doing one more treatment. Because once you get the new permanent makeup, you will never see it.
Right.
You'll never see it.
Right.
It's just going to fade away and disappear.
Yeah. After laser, so if after they've had laser, how long do you recommend that somebody redo permanent makeup?
That's a good question because with it, everybody's a little different because it's your lymphatic system that actually removes the particles of ink. So it has nothing to do with the laser itself. So the healthier you are, the faster that your body's going to dilute it. It's also on your face. So majority of the time, right? Sometimes we'll have them like around here, like little freckles or something like that that's been added. But majority of the time it's on your face. So it's pretty close to your lymphatic system and it does kind of filter out faster. You have softer, more manicured skin there, so it should be a little bit healthier. And that has another thing to do with it, is the porosity of the skin. If you don't have good porosity, good Lord, I mean, you can really mess up somebody's skin just doing the treatment. So I'll have to send them away. Like, let's get on a hydration, internally, externally, so that you can have a better service and healing.
Does it also depend on how many sessions they've had? Like if they've had 1 versus 3, or that doesn't matter?
No, because they all need to be set. They need to be spaced out at least 6 weeks.
Awesome.
So it's either 6 to 8 weeks, depending on their lymphatic system and how fast they heal. The outer surface of the skin always takes about a week to heal, and then underneath the skin, it takes another 4 weeks on top of that. So that's why 6 weeks is like for sure. That's like end goal. 6 weeks is the soonest.
So like our healing, like 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, no, it's skin is skin.
I'm like, skin is skin.
Like
that's what I say. I say skin is skin. Everybody's like, well, this, that, and I'm like, skin is skin.
Yep.
You never know.
No,
Skin is skin.
It's so true. It's so true. And I mean, if we look at the studies on it, that's the process of how skin heals. It protects the system with healing the outside first, and then it finishes healing itself within once it's got that outer barrier sealed and protected from all outside debris and viruses and all that good stuff. But it takes, and then some people and they age. As you age, so there's 28 days of a cell turnover. That's pretty common. When you get to be about 40, 50, it's now 38 days. It adds on 10. And then once you're up in your 60s and 70s, it's even longer. So, the older they are, they're not going to heal as fast. So I might tell them, and it's not a bad thing, the longer the better, especially for tattoo removal, because you see more fading. I'll tell them 8 weeks. But to go back, circle around on that question, it's about 4 months after their last treatment before getting
I like that.
The new treatment done.
I was going to say, I tell people way longer than what I even should sometimes. I'm like, I don't know. I've seen so many different, some people are healed. Like some people are good at 6 weeks, some are 8 weeks, some are 10, some are 12. So I'm like, the longer the better.
You got that shiny skin to it still. It's not all.
I wish she was next door.
Yeah.
Like, why can't she be next door like the podcast people? Like, we just need her to move in one of these buildings, please, so we can just be like, bip, right across the hall, right across the hall.
Yeah.
Wait, it just opened up across the hall.
Maybe I should go there.
That's so funny. I'm like, we just need to turn our back pocket. That'd be great. Yeah.
Well, I'm here for you anytime you need me.
Yeah.
Just a phone call sometimes is all the client needs, just to hear it.
Absolutely.
From somebody else.
Absolutely.
And I actually send people to you all the time, because I'm like, okay, so I sent the lip girl. I'm like, if I highly recommend going to her to get the saline, and then she can, fix up any blushing that needs to be added to it.
Well, and too, we can do it in like circles, so it heals, it like diffuses it a little bit. So it might not even need to be gone, just softened.
Right.
And that easy.
That's what she just didn't like the liner for what it just didn't suit her visual. And then that takes somebody down every day. When
I agree with her. I don't like those harsh lip lines.
Yeah.
I'm like, Tanya's over there somewhere, but I'm like, I just don't like a hard, if I do a lip blush, I like it to all blend into one.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of a hard lip line. If that's something I feel like you topically can add.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
Like
it's not every day for a hard look, you know what I mean? Or a hard line.
Not for, some people maybe, but I'm like, no, for the most part, I like it to all fade, like go together. I mean,
yeah.
So how long have you been doing this? And is there anything that you want to talk about or tell people about or think that somebody needs to know, or because we got some time, girl. I want you to have your...
So for me, I've been doing tattoo removal for 7 years, but I've been in the industry type for about 20-some years. So I started my journey as a makeup artist and hairstylist. I did that for 20 years. Had my own business doing weddings. And and then I was just starting to get that carpal tunnel type feel, in small motor skills. I'm like,
up my arm all the time.
Yeah. And I'm like, what can I do to get out of that so that I don't totally take a beating on my body over so many more years? Yeah. And so I got into aesthetics, and I thought, I'll just do facials and, have that spa lovely touch to people. And then I found out lasers, and I was like, it was over for me. Like, lasers are definitely 100% my jam. Like, it makes sense in my mind. I'm happy to like share my knowledge all the time and get people to feel comfortable, because lasers are scary to a lot of people, I'm finding, especially here in Vegas. I never had a problem back east or in Grand Junction. People are like, lasers? Yeah.
Really?
But even
is.
my students are like, I'm teaching them. Like, last night I had 3 new students that just got introduced to lasers, and they're like, I'm like, so when you get out of school, what do you think? Do you want to do lasers? Like, I don't know. We'll just have to give it a try. And by the end of their first day with me and getting the introduction to the machine, seeing a demo, and being able to do it on somebody, they're like, I'm addicted.
Yeah.
And I'm
think
like,
it'd
I
be
know.
cool. You've even
definitely-
had.
a little
It's
interest
funny
in it.
because she's had a little interest in it, and I'm like, I know it's under like medical aesthetics, so it's like
it
you got a
is.
whole ass journey to follow, but
But it's actually really not. I mean, it's 900 hours to get your advanced aesthetics. That's less than a year.
Yeah.
If you
on
buckle
top
down and do
of-
it.
Can you do advanced aesthetics? You hop right into that?
You
Or-
hop right into it.
Oh.
I teach you it in your advanced aesthetics. That's what I'm teaching is advanced
So I don't have to go
aesthetics.
through the whole
You don't have to go through a
school.
whole. She's
like-
not. If you're not an esthetician, how does that? Well, now we're kind of like.
So-
Yeah, I'm like,
For lasers, they just changed all the laws.
I know that
right?
recently,
So so the bottom of the pole is the advanced esthetician. So you can be advanced aesthetics, a nurse practitioner, a doctor. So that's who can actually handle the machines. Once you're done, but the only thing is you have to have a medical director. And let me tell you what, it's an easy process.
I've heard of that, yeah.
People get scared really easily. They're like, oh, I can never do that. Girl, I moved here, didn't know a soul, still barely know anybody, and I found myself a medical
Making it
director.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you get there. You just find where there's a will, there's a way.
Right,
Right.
absolutely.
You know, like you just, if you want it that bad, you'll get it. And you just have to keep putting it out there.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Like
believe- yeah.
like with me, what I want is I want a laser school. That
You'll get it, yeah.
I think that all these people that are uncertain on how to use lasers can come to one location, learn all the lasers or
Yeah.
just a few of the lasers and get great hands-on.
Is there not something out there like that? What the heck?
The schools have stuff
But
like
they have
that,
it within, like, a
not
program, but
just
not specific-
a laser college that has all of them.
What the heck? You would think
Yeah.
that'd be
There
a thing.
are, just not here in Vegas.
Yeah.
Like there is in Colorado.
Weird.
Yeah.
You would
Yeah.
think so.
You would think
Yeah.
so. That's interesting.
Now, there's a lot of places that will teach you lasers, but they may not have all the modalities.
Yeah.
Right.
So I just want a nice, comfortable place for everybody to come to with like no stipulations on anything and just be able to.
Like perfect that craft
Yes.
too. And
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Just
Very
let you
cool.
talk about it. I feel like you'll get there.
That's the hopes and
Yeah.
goals and dreams. But in the
Yeah.
meantime, I love sharing my knowledge with the kids in the school and just having all the opportunities for them to feel comfortable. Like the 3 last night, you know, they just didn't. They had no idea like how they would even perceive it. And then after just getting a little bit of hands on, it was like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
This
I'm
is
in it
good.
now.
Yeah.
What's been your favorite thing?
For tattoo removal.
Yes.
This is going to sound really funny. So I owned tattoo shops for 9 years. 9 years.
This just keeps getting better and better. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And it was my ex-husband and I that owned the shops, and I removed a few of his.
So what? A few of his?
Yes.
Okay. I was like, she either said something that I don't know if I want to know or ask this again.
Well,
or...
I feel bad saying it, but at the same time, I don't. I think it's just kind of comical. I think it's
Yeah.
like, wow, okay, full circle, you
Yeah.
know, like. And I wish
Yeah.
him no harm at all, but it's just kind of ironic that it was like, oh, so where did you get this tattoo done? And it was like Spider Rose Tattoo. I'm like, well, I know that name because I made up that name.
Yeah.
Oh
I'm
my
like, who
gosh.
did your tattoo? And they're like, and I'm like, okay, great. I didn't tell them that it was my
Yeah.
ex-husband,
Yeah.
but yeah, no.
You're like,
Laughing.
yeah,
Yeah.
bring it over.
I'm like,
That's awesome.
Oh, that's hilarious.
and then just the stories that come with it. I mean, you know, you touch so many people, and I am in Colorado, and I haven't really gotten to that here, but I have gone into quite a few of the places around here that do have people that when they come out of jail, they have parole officers that help them get a jump start.
Yeah.
Those companies tend to pay for some people's tattoo removals. Now, it's neck and above and hands because that's what's going to stop them from getting a job.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If there's game stuff. But people that do this on their own that came in to me in Colorado, they would come in, like, say, this one fellow, for instance, had swastika on his face. And so I removed it for him for free. And he's this big, tough, burly guy. And he comes in, tells me his story. And I'm like, let's do this. I'm going to help you. Well, no, it's like a second chance type program. And he would bawl with just happiness and just being so grateful,
That's awesome.
and it's like you really touch people in a lot of different ways in that way. And then there's a lot of stories that I can't talk about, obviously, but, it just makes you feel like.
I wonder, do you know, I'm getting goosebumps. Do you know if there is like programs or something like that to help people that do need?
Yep. And I do. So there is a second chance. There's, it just depends on where you are and what state and what city.
That's really cool.
And like I said, I did have that for quite some time at my business the whole time. And I do have that on my website that if you have a gang related or hate crime or type tattoo, that I do give free removal, but it has to be, it's
in that area.
It has to be in that area and it has to be legit. I had a woman that got out of jail and came in and asked me to have a free removal. And I asked her why she thought it should be free. And she's like, well, because I did it in prison. And I'm like, okay, but it says love and it's a heart. But she just was like, well, I'm having a hard time getting a job. I'm like, I understand that, but you still have to pay for the service. It's not like, you were pinned down and tattooed. You did this by yourself.
It's not the worst tattoo to have on your face if we're comparing,
I've seen some, I think everybody's seen the ones like you see online where it says something on their eyebrows. It'll say, I can't even think of what but you know what I'm talking about. It'll say some slang or some on their eyelids or on their, so.
Like one life or something.
One life. Shave their eyebrows off. One life. That sort of stuff.
I have removed those.
I actually have a question. Does the removal with the lasers, does it affect hair growth?
No. So that's a great question. I'll answer it a little bit more scientifically so that you guys have a really good understanding on the depth of the skin. So it's the same exact medium. It's the 1064, not across the board for hair removal, but most hair removal machines are going to carry a 1064, which is the Nd:YAG, which is the same one that I use for tattoo removal. Well, the amount of energy that comes out of the machine for tattoo removal usually tops off about 20 joules. Where you start hair removal is 20 joules. So because it's so superficial in the layers of the skin for ink, you don't have to have the energy so forceful. But because the hair follicle is deeper in the skin and past the epidermis, you need that energy to be a little bit more forceful so you can go in and destroy the bulb. And then once you destroy the bulb, it never grows back. The tattoo removal process will take the pigment out of the hair. So I do say, like, hey, you might have some white hairs, but that didn't remove them.
It's funny because you're so smart. You want to hear me explain it to people? Because they're like, is the saline going to remove my hair? I'm like, nope, tattoo's up here, your hair's down here. What else you want to know? No, not like that.
I think you do.
Smart. My brain don't work like that. I can kind of get the point across.
But I did that school. You know what I mean? When you do it, you hold on to a few of those little things. So I'll just figure out. I'll tell you.
Not everybody's brain. In little pieces. I'm like, what she said, here and here, right? Like,
pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
Epidermis.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. So, where can people find you specifically in Las Vegas? Say your name again so it's easy to contact you, and any last thoughts, all that good stuff.
Sure. So it's VivaVanish.com. And that will take you to all the mediums. So you can find Instagram, YouTube, the whatever else, all the social media, Facebook. I'm probably the worst person for social media, but I do my darndest, and I have it all out there. There's LinkedIn. I tried to get it all.
You did a cute video this week.
Yeah,
I was like, dang girl, thank you for the content post.
I tried. I'm like, I just got to get back on it, and I have this weird, and maybe it's just where I am, like, I'm in my mid 40s, so it's like I have this weird block on social media. I need to get past it. Like, if that's anything anybody should teach me how to do, is get past it.
Yeah, just come spend a day with us. We'll
try
fix
to
you.
get my daughter. Yeah, please.
We will. Just come hang out for a day. Just let us know, and then we'll fix you.
Right.
Show you all the things.
So yeah, VivaVanish.com. You can find all of my links there, and a wealth of education. So there's going to be educational videos all about the machine, all about your skin, process of healing, all the things, wavelengths, differences. I mean, we did a really great job with trying to get as much information as you possibly could get out of without having to come in for a consultation on the website.
Yeah, that's awesome.
My physical location is on Charleston Boulevard. So I'm downtown. I'm in the medical district. It's right between Rancho is one of the big streets, and Valley View.
Okay.
So somewhere in
where she's at. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
cool. Awesome.
like it's where Springs Reserve is, or
Oh, yeah.
Preserve.
Okay, yes,
something.
yes.
So I'm Charleston Boulevard.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Awesome.
From there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
So and any last words?
Yeah.
Gosh,
Yeah.
I mean.
Besides, we're going to bring you back because I know you have so much more info inside that brain.
We could just keep talking and talking.
That's why I said, I'm like, yeah, let's talk about it. I could talk 30 minutes about that anytime.
I know, right? Oh my gosh.
Sometimes my consultations go to 30 minutes. Just
Mine
because,
every single time. I'm like, oh, they're 15 minutes. And then I'm 30, 45 minutes later, I'm like, what the heck happened to time?
Yeah.
I think that if you think about getting any of the permanent makeup removed, I highly suggest trying tattoo removal first, because it is going to be the fastest, most efficient way before saline. And then if any case you can't remove everything, you then could do saline.
Like spot treat or something.
Yeah, there's no scarring. You know what I mean? And we have pickers out there.
Oh, yeah.
And they deny it, but then they come back and they got these little... So once the ink is in that scar tissue, it now has to have another different kind of laser treatment called CO2 fractional to break up the scar tissue to get rid of the rest of that ink. And I had a perfect example. I have actually pictures of it that one day I'll have to share with you. But it's a scar of where she had saline, and then she tried to get it tattoo removed. I got a little bit out of it, but there's so much encapsulated into the scar tissue that the body couldn't get rid of. The lymphatic system can't get into the scar tissue.
Yeah.
So it's pickers. It's just easier with tattoo removal. There's no open skin. It just
so you can tell if they're pickers?
Oh, that makes sense.
yeah.
Oh, yes.
You hear
Every
that?
time. That's what
tell. Okay.
I can tell.
Yes. And don't lie, because we really can.
I will know. I can tell by their fidget.
You can tell
Literally.
right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
That's interesting.
It's a
but,
thing.
yeah.
It's a thing. But yeah, that's what that would be my final thought. Like, and then you have a beautiful canvas.
Yeah.
And it happens faster. There's less tries.
Yeah.
With tattoo removal using lasers before saline. But then you can go right back in and get something more fabulous.
Now I have a final thought. Because yesterday we had a lady that had, this is totally off topic, not kind of, but she had her brows done and had a spot.
Oh,
so here's the brow, and the spot was down here. I'm like,
how in the world?
Yeah.
So Tanya did do a little saline, just a little pointillism on it. Like, hopefully it comes up in the scab. Like, it was such a boop. I'm like, how? But it was an inch away from the eyebrow, and I'm like, oh, dropped her machine. Oh my god. Okay. Anyways.
Oh, she dropped it. That's what she told you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. So there goes that. Yeah. Anyways, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We're gonna put all your info, details and stuff. You want to shoot me over those photos? I'll put those in the one you were just talking about. We'll drop that in the episodes too, so they can take a look at that. Yeah. And then they'll know where to find you.
Absolutely.
All right, girl.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining us on another episode of Inspired by Miss Amber Red. And hopefully you guys found this very beneficial. We're going to be doing more like this, and we'll probably hear from her again in the future.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Yeah. See you guys later.
Bye.
Thank you.